What's up, y'all? I did a video a while back on beginner exercises, kind of the basic stuff, things to throw into your practice routine. I'll go ahead and link it up here just so you guys can check that out if you haven't already seen it. This one's gonna be the next level, right? So make sure you got those down, because if you're struggling with those beginner exercises, these are gonna be a bit of a drag. But if you're good with those, you wanna move on to something else, check these out. Hopefully it'll help. First one is roll scales. We did taps and cuts in the previous video, and really all we're doing here is putting them together. It sounds simple, and it is, because it really is just putting those two things together, but it's super important because the rolls are pretty fundamental for Irish music. Every instrument has some variant on it. It's a huge part of sounding like a traditional Irish player. So the roll scales, same idea. And you can do the short version. And just like the other scales we were talking about in the previous video, don't spend a ton of time on it, but if you can spend a couple minutes every time you decide to take the whistle out to play it, I think it's going to make things a lot easier for you. So again, just go up the scale, and I'm doing an E minor scale just because those are the only notes where you can actually play a roll. And you can start playing it slowly too. The main thing is to keep it in rhythm, keep it consistent. As you get used to it, speed it up, knock yourself out. The second thing is triplet scales. I did a whole separate video on jig rhythms and things you can do specifically for jigs, and this is where I got that. But it's a good one to work into regular practice because it'll just kind of help you give that jig feel, which is a little tricky to get if you're not used to it. So again, it's a scale. In this case, we'll start on the D. And just going up the scale. The important thing is to get that jig feel. And to do that, you're cutting the notes with your tongue instead of with your fingers. So that's kind of the rhythm you're looking for. So that's the basic scale without any ornamentation. You can put a cut in there too, and I would say that's a good one to vary it up with and try. So play with that, see if that does you any good. I think it'll help kind of drive in that jig rhythm and get you used to it. So as long as you practice it with that kind of rhythm in mind. Number 3 is Kranz. That's an ornament I did a specific video on, teaching how to play just that particular ornament. You can go back and check that out if you want. That's not what this is going to be about. This is more about an exercise you can do with it. I only play Kranz on the D, the bottom D. You can play it on the E if you want to. To me, I like the sound of the roll better. It just sounds kind of jumbled on E, but the basic gist of the Kranz here, just so you can see how to do it in case you're not familiar with it. So when you speed it up, it's got the kind of bubbly sound. There's different ways you can play it too. The way I do it is those 3 fingers in that order, basically going down the whistle. I've seen other folks do it out of order. Whichever way you play it, that's not really the point of this. The point of it is the exercise that I would suggest, which is this. The reason for that is because it's a pretty common jump going down basically from any note down to a D, and you put a Kranz on the D. It's a pretty common phrase on the whistle, so it's a good one to try. So again, if you play Kranz on E, by all means, work up a scale that uses that. You know, if you like it. Like I said, I just don't do it very often, so it's not a big priority for me. But the bottom D, absolutely. It's my favorite ornament. It just sounds cool because I'm a wannabe uilleann piper. The last one is arpeggios. Now this one I didn't do when I was starting out, and I kind of wish I had, because I imagine it would have given me a better, more fundamental understanding of chords, at least as far as how you can structure a melody around them. And honestly, there's a reason vocal singers do this as a warm-up. So basically the gist of it is, you can add in grace notes and that kind of stuff, but really you're just trying to get familiar with the basic triads, the basic chords. So D, E minor, so on up the scale. So you just get more familiar with where your fingers are expected to go. If you're kind of hearing a tune, you think it's in A, or you're hearing an A chord, well, I'm probably going to be able to play some of those notes. and be safe. So if you're kind of guessing at what the melody is, I think it'll just kind of help with ear training a little bit. Try it, let me know. If you guys have any other more advanced kind of exercises you guys do, put them down in the comments. I'd love to check them out, see what you guys think. Holler at me, any questions, suggestions, comments, all that good stuff. See you all on the next one. Cheers. So basically the gist of it is,